and welcome to Kerry's Cards. Thanks for joining me on this tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to turn 3 pieces of plain card, and when I say plain, today we're just going to use plain old white card to go with the papers that we're going to use. However, you can use different colours to create a gift box. Here's one I've made earlier, sound like someone from Blue Peter if you're old enough to know Blue Peter. A gift box that measures just 6.5 inches by just over 2 inches, but it's slightly different. So when you take the lid off, you have some more boxes inside and it opens out to be flat. So you can put lots of bits and pieces in there. We're trying to work out in the recent workshop what we could pop in, and we thought lots of Lindor balls or Ferrero Rocher would work well, or like bath bombs or something like that. But if you come up with something else, then let me know in the comments below. So we are going to be using, let's pop that one away there. We're going to be using the papers that are called from the Friends for Life bundle. That is on page 43 in the current Stampin Up annual catalogue. And this is the lovely colourway here, and pretty much you've got every colourway that you could possibly imagine within this set. The papers are called Full of Life, and you get 6x6 and you get 48 sheets for £11.75. And I have to say, they've got to be the best value papers I've seen for a long time. Pretty papers. I mean, the colours are fantastic. So on one side we've got all different blobs and starbursts and things like that, and then when you turn it over you've got like a watercolour effect. So they're really good to make lots and lots of different style cards. I'll show you a couple I've made using that side. There we go, let's grab these. So this one I've made just a plain simple front card using one of these fabulous papers here, and it's just a strip with a simple happy birthday. This one I've done using one of the starbursts. There will be tutorials on these as well. So that's the starburst, and I've just cut it in half and then backed it on some black. And then this one uses the smaller squares, and I've just cut out 5x5 and laid that on top of some nice pink. So there's a couple of examples of some cards I've made using that paper. But we're not going to make a card today, we're going to make the gift box. And this is the one we're going to make here. So I've showed you the bright pink one, it's one version. Here's another version, white with pink and stripes. There's lots of different ways that you can make these, decorate these boxes. But the one we're going to do today, I'm going to show you, uses the square bits of paper, and I've cut out the 4x4s and popped them all over the place in this box. So let's get crafting, shall we? You will need some scissors and some glue and your trimmer, and then let's get the 2 pieces of paper that we want to use. I'm going to use that one and that one. Pop those away. Let's pop those to one side for now, and we'll get the box on the go. So the first thing we're going to make is the 3 boxes that go inside. Now we're going to take one piece of A4 paper card, and we're going to cut it. I've used up the whole side of A4 piece of paper here. This is 8 1/4, and we want it. We're going to have 3 lots of 8 1/4 by 3 inches. So I'm going to first cut this at 9 inches, and the reason I'm cutting it at 9 inches first is because we need to score all those 3 pieces by the same numbers. So rather than doing it 3 times on 3 pieces of different paper card, we're going to do it once on the bigger piece, and then we'll cut the portions out afterwards. And we're going to score here at 2, at 4. I'm obviously using my trimmer here, but you could use your scoreboard if you have a scoreboard. 6 and 8 inches. So there we've got our score lines run through the whole piece of card, and I'm going to turn it around 90 degrees, and I'm going to cut at 3 inches. That's one piece. 3 inches again, and so we've got our 3 pieces of 3 inches. And each of these you need to score at 1 inch, because this is going to make the base of the box. Now remember, if you're using your trimmer, to make sure you change back to your school blade. There's that one. And there's that one. So that's the 3. So I'm not going to do anything with those just yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all the pieces of card out to start with, so you can see what we're utilising. We then take our second piece of white card and we're going to start making the base of the box. Now this needs to be 10 by 5/8. So the 5/8 is the next big one after the halfway mark. And then turn it round, and it needs to be by 6 3/8, which on the Stampin' Up board, on the Stampin' Up cutter, is the actual black line there, where, or the grey line where it meets the white tape measure there. Then when we're like this, we're going to bring it back in and we're going to get our score in again, and we're going to score at 2 1/8 on the short side, followed by 1 1/4 still on the short side. Then we rotate it 90 degrees and we're going to score at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, 6 3/8, which again is on the Stampin' Up trimmer, is just on the grey line, and 8 1/2 inches. So we've got like a sheet of paper that's just got a bit of a grid mark on, or sheet of card, but we'll pop that down there on top of the boxes. Then we'll take the last piece. Now this piece, you can make 3 lids out of this piece. So if you were going to make a production line, you just need 2 1/3 pieces of A4 card for each box. And the lid is 3 3/4 by 8 inches. So we just lose a little bit off that one. Then I need you to score at 3/4 of an inch around each edge. So that is all the equipment in terms of card that we need for our box layout. But before we move on to building that, I'm just going to take my 2 pieces of card that I have, or papers that I have here, and I'm going to cut these squares out. I'm going to load them up on top of one another, because I'm going to cut down, actually no I won't, just in case this pattern's slightly different. Just by eye, and then this one. I've got a bit too much white on the edge there for my liking, so I'm just going to take some of that white off so it matches the other sides. So now I can turn these round and I'll cut them. We've got a pile of little squares there. We'll do the same on this side. Let's get some of that excess white. So we'll go. Always helps to use the cutting blade rather than the scoring when you want to cut. Line them up. Now what I like about this design, or using this piece of paper on white card, because normally when we make boxes we do them in nice pretty colours. So I didn't go through those. In nice pretty colours. Let's do that one properly. Like I did with this pink one here. But because they've got the white edge round these little squares, it makes it really easy to just pop the box on, these onto the box to decorate, because you're not worrying about it. Sort of hides the white on the card, if that makes sense. I hope so. It does in my little head, but we'll see. There we go. Right, so that is all I need the trimmer for now, so that can go away. I'll keep those there. Right, so let's get the lid done first, shall we? So in our lid, for our lid, we just need to take our little scissors, cut up to the, on the short sides, cut up to the first score line and make little tabs. Oh, that was the wrong side. Okay. And then a little tab. And then, so that's the cutting that we need for the lid. And if we take our bone folder, make it nice and neat. If you don't have a bone folder, don't worry, you could use the side of a ruler. Fingers are always good as well. I find my fingers ache after a while, so that's why I like using the bone folder, and I can put a little bit more pressure on. Then to make the lid, just get our glue. And we put a little bit on each of these corners. And bend it round. It makes a nice, neat, tidy corner. We'll do it on that side as well. And turn it around and do the other side. Match up the edges. One side. That's our lid. Then we'll make our little boxes, so we give them a chance to put that on that, dry off a little bit. So we've got 3 bases for the boxes. And we cause our little tabs by doing our little V's up to the first score line. And then this is going to be a little tiny tab. So that's what it should look like when you've cut them all out. So I'll do another one. It's always good to have really nice sharp scissors for this, because it's quite nice and clean. And then the last one. All the little bits, and we take our bone folder and we just make sure we have a nice strong defined edges. What? Oh. And then the last tab. Then we got to that point, we got our glue. A little bit of glue on the edge there. And to make sure that the boxes are square, I fold them down flat like that, and then it should be just perfect to make and glue them together with that little tab. Okay, there's one. Two. And three. Just wipe a little bit of excess glue off if there's a bit too much there. Let those dry a little bit over there. Whilst they're drying, I'll show you how we cut this piece. So this is our grid that we made earlier. And for this one, we just cut from the short sides on each side down to the first score line. Okay. Then we just need to burnish these edges here. We're not worried about the middle score lines. They're just there for guides as to where we're going to place our boxes. But we do need to do the end two score lines on the short side. And this way. So we don't burnish these ones because they're just our grids, but we have on this one. Now, when you're ready, take our three boxes, put a little bit of glue on the inside two flaps and pop them down and try and make the box nice and square. It's easier sometimes to pop it on the table and hold it while the glue sets. You could use a double-sided sticky tape because that would be super duper quick. You have to be confident then though that you're going to pop them in the right place, whereas I still like using my wet glue because it means a little bit of movement if I'm in the wrong place. So get it nice and square, turn it over, hold it down for a little bit. And the last one. Put that one down. Get nice and square on the table. Okay, so there are three boxes ready. Now each of these boxes will fit in the squares that we've got on where we've scored them, so you can see. But to make this box fold up nice and neatly, we have to position them like that. And then what happens is, as you roll it up, the contents will stay inside and you put the lid on. Okay. We did work out in a workshop when I ran that you can actually pop them this way if you wanted to, in a diagonal. And then as you fold it up, the box up, you'll have the first middle present you'll be able to see, but the other two will be a surprise. So we'll build that one this way for today. It's just slightly different. It's a bit more of a reveal, I suppose. So we'll put this one in the middle first. A bit of glue, just line it up in the, no, not embossed, scored areas. Now the difference being on this one, by doing it this way, I'll bring this one back in. What I did with this one is I used these sides here and I glued them onto the two boxes there on that side. Can you see there? It's glued up and there, so pulled up, so it makes it a bit stronger on the sides. We won't be able to do that with the position in this way, so I'm going to do one on that side and one on that side. So it just adds a little bit more strength to the box. There we go, hold them in place. And then on this side, I actually folded these two over, so it makes this side of the box nice. So like folded those ones over there. So we'll do the same again there. But you don't have to, you could cut them off if you wanted to and use them for another project. But it just makes the box nice and secure. So then when we fold it all up, we have the box looking like that. And then our lid will just fit, will fit on the top. And there you have a white box ready to be decorated. So let's get decorating. Now you can go wild with these, you can do a colour match, you choose which way you want to do it. You could, if you wanted to, do it the other side of the papers that we've used. But this one I've tried to do colour match as best as possible. It wasn't all the way, but the outsides I've made all green. I think I'm going to do exactly the same for this one. Or maybe just jazz it up. Let's go pinks on the top, shall we? Have we got enough pinks? No. So let's do a nice purpley one in the middle. Now, if you wanted to do normal pretty papers and cut them into squares, that's one other way. And the measurements for that are in the notes below. But you'll need essentially, you need 19 to 21, depending on how many squares you put on, of 1 3/4 inches, which is the size I've done in here. So these are all 1 3/4 inches, and they all go around the box. And you can put them anywhere. But then on the outside of this one and the lid, where's the lid? On this box, this is one whole piece. Now these pieces are 6 1/4 inches by 2 inches. So you need one of those for the lid, and then you need 3, 1, 2, and 3 if you want to do the inside, at 6 1/4 inches by 1 7/8. But again, all those measurements are in the information below. But we'll carry on putting these together. And you don't forget, you've got your grid lines from where we scored, from where you need to put your pieces of card, pretty paper, sorry. Let's do this side. Pick that one up. And then inside, I think it's going to be all greens. Do we have another? I think we might have to go poetic license and do that one because it's got a bit of yellow in. So that's the outside. Oh no, we need to do our 2 edges there, don't forget. But again, this is another great way of using up lots of scraps. If you've got lots of pretty papers that you haven't finished or bits of, you can do a complete collage and choose whichever colours you wanted, really. I do think these all look like windows. It's a bit wonky. This is why I like wet glue, because I rush things a little bit sometimes, because I come in and do a bit of crafting in between cooking the dinner or something like that. And it always makes, by using the wet glue, I have plenty of time to straighten things up. There we go. Let's decorate the sides of the boxes. You might want to stop there. You might think that's enough and not need to put the white, anything on the white ones on the boxes inside. That's what it's looking like that side now. Let's turn it around and do this side. There we go. How many sides do we have left? I think 1, 2, 3. How many have we got left there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put one on the other side, and I'm going to leave the other sides blank. Now I've got 6th one there. Look, I can do it. I was going to say, I can do them all. I knew I had enough. And another one. And last one, I think. I've got 2 more to do. So there we have the last one. 1 piece left over. Let's get our lid. Let's roll it up. So as we roll it up, we start seeing more boxes, more paper. Put the lid on, and there we have another decorative box. Now, obviously, you can go on and put a belly band around this to secure it, or use some ribbons. It's entirely up to you. So here's our one we made earlier, with the lid on. Here's one using the brighter colours and using the dimensions there to do long pieces of pretty papers. And here's another one I made a few months ago using some old designer series paper. This is my prototype. So you can see there how that one looks in a different colour. Again, this is somewhat Christmassy. So there you are. There's several different ideas for you. Enjoy making, and any comments or questions, then please come back to me. Many thanks. Happy crafting. Bye.